that you're headed for a whole lot of trouble. Well, I think that you're headed for a whole lot of trouble. Well, I think that you're headed for a whole lot of trouble. If you take your whiskey.
Woo! Diamond Dave and the boys, I guess we'll start at the top again with this. The number was 38 as of the count that I have. FBI agents, state police investigators entered the sheriff's office at Lake County Government Center at 2293 North Main about 9:30. Ryan Holmes, spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office, said feds authorities were serving search warrants in the county sheriff early today. He declined on what documents are being sought or who was being targeted. But, start at the top. Let's not get too, caught up in connecting two probably fairly close dots, we'll say. Dean Delisle told the Times he was in the Sheriff's Bureau of Investigation, where police records are held. They wanted a copy of an accident report where agents and state police walked into that office and ordered everybody, including the sheriff's employees, to leave the building. Delisle said they were taking pictures of everything. He said the sheriff's employees appeared upset as they were preparing to leave. Maybe somebody had a really nice sandwich for
with
lunch.
The waste. Yeah.
Right.
Can't leave that sandwich
right. Well, the bread, right. The stuff soaks in the bread overnight.
Oh, yeah.
Or it gets dry.
Disgusting.
Maybe they got a microwave.
They rated that too, probably.
Yeah, exactly. If it was a really good sandwich, it could be gone. Like one of those paninis, those are money.
Good,
yeah. A source within county government said feds enter the building with dollies, which can be used to move large quantities of documents. Thank you for that definition. And equipment. A source said all employees in the building were ordered to leave the building. Wow. The source within county government said feds had fanned out, after they got the stuff from the sheriff's office, to the Lake County voter registration and election offices where vote totals are kept. I guess if they were going to do that, that's something you would expect after the election. So that would be something that couldn't be done before. Lake County E911 offices and other departments within the administration building were also looked at. And then just a strange note here at the bottom that, again, maybe I don't know if they're trying to connect the dots here a little bit, but they say the Lake County Jail, where the sheriff offices has offices, has been under U.S. Department of Justice mandate for the last 8 years for failing to meet federal health care standards for inmates. Again, there's nothing about health care or the building, anything above that, so it has to. Again, I'm a little baffled as to the other parts of this. Let's get to that, where they've got some folks in town doing just a little more than just checking out the government center. Did I click out of that? No, I didn't. Jeez. Well, again, his home was also raided. Sheriff Bunchich's. I thought I had it. I know what I did.
It's in there somewhere, I'm sure.
I know what I did. I got to go to the Gazette. The Gazette has, of course, a little more.
Has everything in there.
He's the man. He really is.
Ken Davidson.
Of course, we speak of Ken Davidson. Here it is. This has got the stuff about the other the towing companies, and I'm scratching the head here, trying to connect towing to voting. Maybe they're towing away votes. I don't know. I have no idea. Sources say, at least, again, this is from the Northwest Virginia Gazette, that 3 towing contractors were visited by agents today. CSA Towing in Lake Station, Sampson Towing in Maryville and Geary, and Custom with a K Towing in Portage, all reportedly visited by FBI agents. At least one of the homes of the owners of the above businesses was also visited. And when asked by the FBI why the FBI visited, an employee of Sampson Towing replied, "No comment." So that means Ken obviously got on the horn. And he does say, again, which I would say, it's important to remember that a criminal investigation does not imply wrongdoing. Well, it might imply it, but it doesn't mean it's true. FBI agents have seized records many times, and those seizures of records do not always result in criminal charges being sought or brought. Sheriff Bunches did issue a statement as of now. Lake County, Lake County Sheriff's Department is cooperating with the federal law enforcement partners, fully assisting the FBI with their inquiry. Regular Sheriff's Department's operations are continuing. We assure the citizens of Lake County that their safety remains our top priority.
If I would have known this morning, I would have asked them.
I guess, yeah. I mean, you could have been the hard-nosed guy, I guess. This is getting, folks getting down to work, I guess, right? I mean, Trump's been in there 2 days. I already cleaned the house, obviously.
Drained the swamp.
This can't be anything related to Trump, obviously. So I'm sure this has to be something that's been in the works for some time. Again, since we have this sort of Geary voter fraud video story, maybe it has something, the connection to do with that. You know that we played on the air yesterday with Reverend what's his name and Rev for who's his Watson's say they put they put politicians in seats or whatever.
But we gotta say it's just speculation.
It is all speculation now, but even though Ken wrote that they've seized stuff before, I don't really remember them doing a whole lot of work without getting something. I mean, when they went after Philpott, bang, it was over. When they went after Van Til, they came and it was over. I mean, it was bang, bang, bang. But, then we still have some sort of goofy things around here with the FBI's in. I've got no resolution as far as I know of what happened over at Bishop Noel. Right? That story's been, brushed under. Again, I got no comment on it. I mean, if you don't know about that story, let's look up Bishop Noel and police activity. I imagine you'll find the stories about that right away. That's disturbing. That should be a slam dunk almost, right? I mean, if it's he said, she said, and you got cell phones, that should be good. We just got an update on the Geary IT scandal, where just one person is in the news, when I find it, fairly, it would be a mastermind. Would they be the person that was able to fudge the invoices, get the property, distribute it to the people for sale, sell it, and have the money, right? Without having anybody else in there. So I guess, again, can we go back? Let's go back to where, really, since I've been, this particular rant's been going on since we got another. And again, I read it all the time. I'm a fan. But when they're wrong or when they're trying to steer something wrong, I have to call them out.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do there.
The Times wrote the article about, trying to tie the Cubs' victory to the train and moving forward. And, wasn't it? And saying that there's too many of us worried about not shaking hands with those in charge, and that the transgressions of our, are of our past, and called it a fleeting past. Remember the word fleeting?
I do remember that word, yeah.
And remember me say stampeding instead? How do you feel about using the word fleeting now? Is it again, fleeting in this instance means not long ago. That's not a part of now. We don't do stuff like that. Whatever this is, Bunches is your top guy in the region, head of the Democratic Party for the entire county. Won by a landslide. You guys tell me, 845-1100. I mean, he's innocent until proven guilty, but why is it? Why aren't they here? They didn't come here to have coffee. Why are they here? Again. And again, this is still under the previous administration, right? I mean, this had to be under whoever's in there now for stuff in the FBI. Obviously, something the Attorney General, I'm sure, is going to have some say about. Greg Zeller, right? Until he gets, his spot taken. 845-1100. What do you know? What have you heard? Again, I'm expecting a call from Northwest Indiana Gazette's proprietor Ken Davidson shortly to give us. He was again out on the town taking pictures. You can for a lot of folks, Tony. they can thank Hammond Mayor Thomas McDermott for being the first one to have a picture of, live from there. Apparently, he must have been in town in Crown Point,
How convenient.
or somebody sent him a shot of it. Again, it probably wouldn't be hard for him to find someone over there to step outside and take a quick shot if he was busy. But then the Gazette popped something. The Times popped something. And honestly, they've been adding to it almost every hour. So you want to check out the stories further, you can at Northwest Indiana Gazette or the NWI Times, who are both on top of this one. Let's go to.
We got Don on the line.
Hey, Don. Thanks for calling.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
All right.
I think in Northwest Indiana, it's just safe to assume that any Democrat in any elected office is probably corrupt or dirty of some sort, just based off the history of people we've seen convicted. I think you'd be on the safer side to err and just assume that anytime you keep putting these same people in office that something is going on. And then I'm curious about that Bishop Knoll teacher. Is that teacher the one that's connected to the...
Well, we and that's the whole deal with it. I mean, I appreciate you calling and saying, Donnie, but we've never been as a radio station, as a media source, we've never been released the full information on that. So I got to sort of leave it there, if that's okay. But I'm still waiting. I'll tell you that. Thanks for your call. I'm still waiting. It would be nice to get fair in the media. I mean, that's part of the deal. Let's go to the phone lines.
Mad Mac.
Matt.
So we can't discuss that other subject? I'm just asking. I'm being polite.
What is there to discuss? I mean, again, all I'm doing is waiting for information, same as you. I've never been released any name. Every name I've gotten was always speculation, and there was nothing in the article. So
That's what we do here, dude. That's all we do is speculate.
I understand, but when you're saying names and stuff, that stuff's got to be released. I'm sorry, but.
All right. Well, I'll just give you a quote from the famous terrible Tom McDermott and the famous James E. Delow, commonly known as Jed on a motor scooter.
It's an awesome
Their quotes
scooter.
were, listen, when the feds come in, it's over. They don't come in because they're looking for something. They come in because the deal is done. We know what we want. We've already looked. We're taking it. And these guys are guilty. Now, these two gentlemen I mentioned a second ago, that may not have been their verbatim words,
right?
But that's what they said.
So, I wouldn't see. Why would you
bring the block? If they're going down if they're at Barnage's house right now, what do they do? Round them about with dogs he stole or something?
I can't figure out a tie between the voting and a registration to towing companies unless there's a multiple issue here, which very well could be. I don't know. I mean, this is This is somewhere around his 15th or 16th year as sheriff over the past 20 years. Is that correct? Something like that?
Well, all I can figure out is you mentioned 3 towing companies, but I do notice nobody mentioned Lefty's Towing Company because I think that's the most honest company to get your car towed from out of Roxanne, Indiana. So always call Lefty's at 555-1212. I do understand it's going to be reincorporated under Lefty/Mad Max Towing Company in about 2 hours, but always use an honest towing company when the driver is Lefty. And then don't forget, vote for Trump, save America.
Right. He's already in. Again, we've been saying this. This is just speculation now. Again, that they're here. We're waiting for more information. Obviously, what Ken Davidson mentioned was interesting, that even though the raid happened today, it could be with years before there's any indictment or anything. So,
you got Ken on the line right now.
All right, let's go to Ken. Hey, Ken.
Hey, I was actually calling to say exactly the opposite of what Mad Max said, and the caller before Mad Max actually made our point that sometimes investigations don't lead to criminal charges. We have Portage, where they went in and got campaign finance and similar type documents, and there have been no charges. Obviously, the Bishop Knoll situation, whatever happened there, was big news, but no charges. Just because they investigate doesn't mean that there's criminal activity. It means they're looking at something. So people need to keep that in mind. Yeah, if there is an indictment, it takes a year and a half to 2 years usually.
Interesting.
So this isn't something that we're going to have an answer to, in 5 minutes. But as far as the campaign finance, my guess is two things they would be looking at there. Assuming that you're looking at money flowing from contractors to an elected official, you would either look to see if it was on the campaign finance report, or more importantly, if it wasn't.
Interesting. So you think that could be the link between the towing companies into the inquiry anyway?
Well, if you look at what a towing company gives almost any politician, towing companies give a lot of money to politicians.
Oh, to get the city contracts, right? Okay.
No, of course not. What are you talking about? They just like politicians.
That's an interesting link.
It's not a quid pro quo. They just like to give money to politicians.
Take my car, take my wallet. I think they got a lot in common, even if it's across the street. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So it's a. I was at one of the houses.
Tell if you guys want to talk about it, we can. Otherwise, that's the story I got for now, and we'll just keep our ears peeled for any updates, Tony, on NWI, or Ken will of course keep us abreast of any developments. Be back AM 1230 FM 104.7 WJ.